Welcome to the Style and Vibes podcast with me, Michaela. I'll be giving you the inside scoop on music, fashion, culture, and more from Caribbean celebrities and tastemakers across the globe, pushing our culture with authenticity and, of course, style and vibes. Welcome to another edition of the Style and Vibes podcast. Today we are joined by a very special guest, Tia. I need to insert my pam 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 pam. So Tia is a lovers rock singer, songwriter, and an artist hailing from St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. She has a love of singing with sensual vocals, just styling, singing about her life, love, and reality. So we definitely got to get into that. She has charted the top 5 reggae iTunes chart. She has worked with industry producers Troyton Hinds and Dean Pons, making her debut in 2014 with the release of her single Healing, followed by Be Without You, alongside a number of singles and her EP Black Cocoon. Fast forward to 2021 and her single Nice Up, featuring dancehall icon Bounty Killer. She's definitely heating things up for the summer and beyond. So this interview comes at a perfect time. We're going to have a lot of fun. Tia, welcome to the family.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be here.
So tell us, so honestly, you're the first artist that I've had from St. Croix. So you got to give us a look about your history and upbringing on the podcast. You're making history on the podcast today. So tell me a little bit about you and your upbringing and how you kind of got into singing.
Okay, so since I'm the first artist to be on your podcast from the Virgin Islands, the U.S. Virgin Islands is made up of 3 small islands, St. Thomas, St. Croix, and St. John. And I'm from the biggest of the islands, St. Croix. Mm-hmm. And I was born here, but I grew up in Georgia. So I left St. Croix when I was about 4 or 5. And then I did all my schooling in the States. And then, every summer you come in and you visit your family and then I moved back to the Virgin Islands after high school. And that's when I got into, music and reggae and dancehall. I mean, I always used to listen before, but it really, really grew on me when I moved back after high school.
So what made you move back after high school?
My family was just looking for a change, and I felt like I was too young to just be up there by myself after. So I just came with them, and then, like I said, I always came down for the summer. So it wasn't like a foreign place to me. I was very familiar with St. Croix. So that's pretty much it.
So tell me about, how did you start writing and singing? Like, what was that process like for you?
Well, I was always creative growing up. So I would draw, paint. I used to do a lot of expressive writing. Anytime I used to get in trouble with my parents, it was a letter I was sending. But I used to do poetry, and I was always in the art room in high school, and I was very much into just creative. Like, I did do my own hair, so anything I could do with my hands or my mind, I was very into that throughout my life. But I think it just grew into something after I was working several odd jobs, after high school, and I just wasn't finding what I liked to do. I was very unhappy with all the jobs that I had. And so I just remember one day being in this office, secretary position, and I just wrote a song and I took it home to my mom, and she was like, wow, this is kind of good. So, and it just kind of took off from there, one thing led to another. And then about 2 years ago, I ended up working with Troyton Hinds, he's my manager now, out of Jamaica. If you ever say, oh, tell me what you say. Hey, tell me what you say. Oh, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Cut that out. But 7-Eleven with Dexter Dobbs.
Yeah.
Take it for Movado and Carry On Sang. He's responsible for those things like that. So yeah, I think that is how it goes. I'm not sure, but yeah.
So in terms of just singing, was it something that you just said, I just want to start singing one day, or have you always kind of been singing as a young girl coming up? Like, how did that Like the songwriting piece, it sounds like you've always been doing, but how did that, how did singing kind of butterfly with that career change?
I honestly didn't think I was could sing. The only time I ever sang throughout high school, I did this talent show once with my friend, and it didn't, it wasn't nothing serious. But I didn't grow up like singing or in a choir or anything like that. It was just, I guess, just in me, a hidden talent that I didn't discover until later on after high school. And because I was already writing my own songs, I was like, well, let me try and sing them, and then I wasn't very confident or sure at first. And so what I did was I joined a few plays on island, some musicals, and tried to develop my skill there. I went on YouTube and I was like, na 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 na, and all kind of different type of exercises to try and develop, some type of a singing voice. And I guess, it worked out, and I'm always learning and always trying to develop singing, but I think it was just a hidden talent that I just didn't know I had growing up.
Mm-hmm. So in as you are kind of learning all of this, and you're kind of even spoke about like just being able to pull up YouTube and videos to kind of help you along that journey, you're actually coming up in a very different era and a different non-traditional like way than a lot of other people and even people previously in the industry. So what are some of the things that you're kind of taking advantage of? You talked about, the learning scales in terms of singing, and you were able to connect with doing some plays, but from a digital perspective, you're kind of growing up, like you're coming up in that era. So what is it like for you, and what are your conversations with Troyton? Because being able to collaborate in that scale and have that understanding from a business perspective, what is it like coming up in this digital age that and I'm asking just because I'm probably just a little bit older,
Yeah.
so it's almost like I didn't even think about the idea of going on YouTube and learning like scales. That's
Yeah.
really new, you know what I mean? But it's amazing. So there are probably other things that you're taking advantage of that I'm sure you could share with some of the listeners that they're just not aware of.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I'm sure, you hear a lot of artists from back in the day say it was a lot harder to just get music out there to people. But because of social media, you could pretty much just post it on your social media, your platform, and there's music. And then hopefully your friends like it and they share it. So, I mean, of course, that way, and trying to connect with other influencers and people like yourself, and just through the means of this phone, just Googling ideas of how you can build your platform, coming up with concepts and things that will maybe pique people's interest to come and listen to your music. And of course, like your personality, you want to show that. And I think that's some things that a lot of the older artists didn't necessarily have the platforms to do on their own. And I think it's a blessing and a curse, because at the same time, the market is like oversaturated at this point, where it's like it feels sometimes impossible to be noticed because there's a lot of artists, and so with that, you kind of have to just connect with the right people. And that was my biggest thing. Like, I need to connect with people that can make my journey a bit more impactful, in a sense. So that was the whole point of me reaching out to, producers and DJs outside of the Virgin Islands, in Jamaica and stuff, and trying to see who would, work with me. And it just so happened that Troyton, liked what he heard, and he decided to take me on as his artist. So this is the reason why, and plus my talents and stuff like that, it's the reason why I'm able to kind of maneuver the way I'm maneuvering with getting a feature with Bounty and stuff like that, because I believe in working smart, not hard. So just trying to collaborate with people, I think, is the biggest thing right now in this age.
So up until this point, you've had even like a few videos and songs, and even like what you're telling me, and as I watch some of your catalog and listen to some of your music, you wouldn't necessarily know, the treatments for the videos look very on par with what is happening in today's market. It's super quality. And then the fact that you kind of honed in on this blend of lovers rock, a little bit like a dancehall kind of spice with it, and
Yeah.
then you kind of bring it together very, very well. That I'm so just happy to hear your story, because essentially you couldn't necessarily tell that those were some of the challenges that you were having. So in terms of just your growth in the music, like what has that been like for you as an artist?
I think over everything else, I think it's mentally challenging. You have to kind of, I know like people to say it a lot, but I do think that you have to kind of build for the industry. It's mentally challenging because you have to stay focused on what you are doing. There's a lot of times you could possibly be distracted by, oh, well, this person is getting a lot of attention for doing nonsense while I'm here like working my butt off. So I think mentally challenging, it can get to you sometimes. And as far as just the work, it's a lot of work. You can't get away from just hours upon hours of just promoting and writing music and reaching out to people and contacting. It's just a lot. Putting together video shoots. So I just try to do it one day at a time, and try and just have a solid team, really.
Do you find yourself spending more time on the business side of the industry than the music side?
I think it's equal. I think it's equal. Because without the music, like, what's really the business, So I think it's equal amounts of time that I spend with each. The business can be very complicated at times. So, but you can't ignore that because you want to get paid and you don't want to be like this starving artist.
Indeed. And I think that that's one thing that I think this generation has kind of learned from previous generations. I mean, there's still, contractual issues, but the access to be able to distribute your own music, have direct access to more producers and DJs, kind of is an advantage of coming up in this era. There are, like you said, definitely some drawbacks as well. But I think, what I like to hear is that there's a lot more focus on the business side that previously was like, no, you guys do that. And I think that is a lot of females that I talk to, or women that I talk to.
Yeah.
They seem to be on it. The women are definitely like into making sure that they are kind of solid and set, and they kind of want to go through the details. Are you kind of that way as well? Like, you want to make sure everything is perfectly right before you either release a song or do a performance, or like, how are you structured and wired from a creative standpoint?
I think I'm very obsessive. So once I get fixated on something, I do want it to be like perfect. But I'm trying to kind of let go of a little bit of that, because sometimes things just are not going to be perfect. And, perfection sometimes can hold you back from just getting it done. But when it comes to the business side, I do try to, get it right. And, there's, like I said, I'm always learning. There's always something new that comes up that, you just like, oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and because I didn't ever go to like a music school, or nobody teach me nothing, it's like you always have to be kind of asking questions. So yeah, I you know it's a work in progress, honestly.
I think the whole journey is a work in progress. I mean, we're all just putting one foot in front of the other. So, I have to ask this question because we're still in a pandemic. Uh, how did COVID and the pandemic kind of impact you and the plans that you had over the last year or so? If Uno could see the eye roll.
Um, okay, so basically, let me tell you what happened. My EP dropped the end of 2019, November 2019. Pandemic really took full force March 2020. So there wasn't a lot of time to do anything with my EP besides like I did 2 album release parties, one in Jamaica and one in the Virgin Islands. And like I said, I'm in that time period, I did make it to number 5 on the iTunes list. But like as far as the touring and the shows and the ideas that me and Troyton had of just getting out there to expose the music, that came to a halt. And I was very disappointed, for a long time, because you work so hard to make sure this album, this project is perfect. And then, that happens, but it ended up being a blessing in disguise. Honestly, I told myself, I said, you know what, where there's a will, there's a way. And so, like I said, it ended up being a blessing in disguise because a year later, Bounty Killer jumped on the EP and did his remix to Nice Up. So I can't complain,
Yeah. So I heard I was gonna ask you about this. So the original came out in 2019, and you did a video for that, and then Bounty Killer jumped on it, but he was already sampled in the original. So that was a great collaboration. So how did that really come about?
So we were talking about, me and my manager and some of my other team members, we were talking about how we wanted to revamp the EP, re-release it because, of course, of COVID. And so we were like, you know what, for the year anniversary, we need to get some features, we need to get some things done. And Troyton was like, I think I'm gonna let Bounty hear the song because he's already sampled on it, his voice is already there. Let me see if he hear the song and if he like it. So there was one night they was at the studio together and Troyton let him hear it, and he was very impressed by the fact, like, we gave him credits on the EP, and we his voice was sampled, and I think he was able to hear himself on it, and he loved it, and he went and he did his verse, and I was just so so grateful. I was like, wow, thank you, God.
And not only did he do the song, but he did the video.
He did the video, right? He did the video, and he really just supported me throughout that whole experience there. And he was just so humble. I mean, the video shoot was amazing. We got there and it was, intended to just be this video shoot for a house party, and it ended up being a real house party because we haven't partied in so long. The energy was just there, and we really just had a lot of fun. I'm sorry, did my
oh, it's okay, don't worry about it.
We really just end up having a lot of fun. We had food there and music, and Bouncy was cracking jokes, and it was just nice. It was a good vibe, and I think that really showed in the video itself. It was just real laid back and cool.
So now that you're kind of having a new start in 2021, what are some of the things that you're looking forward to, and what can we expect from you?
So in about 2 weeks, I'm dropping another video. It's called Fahrenheit. That song is also on the Black Cocoon EP. And I did a remix with it with ZJ Liquid. And I just love the video so much. I think it's beautiful. I think it's like a very good summer video. So definitely go and check out the Black Cocoon EP. And the song is called Fahrenheit. So we can look forward to that. And of course, I plan on dropping more music, more visuals, and just trying to stay creative during this time until we can get to a place where we can, you know, come to different locations and perform the music and the songs and really interact with the fans.
Did this time period, were you writing a lot, like in terms of just musically, creatively speaking, like, or were you more in a place of like, and it's either is okay, because I think some people found this time to be super creative, and then some people just had to sit because they were just as impacted as, you know, all of us. So I think it's very one or the other. I don't really hear this hybrid. I mean, I think I sat for most of it outside of, you know, making sure, and I'm okay with it. You know, like I wasn't able to do all of the things that I wanted to do, and all the plans that I had were completely shot. And that's kind of trickling into this year, and I'm okay with that. So with that said, did you find this time to be more creative, or was it just a time to be still?
I'm always writing and I'm always creating. So I don't think the pandemic really affected that part of anything. Like I'm always in this creative mode. Um, but it did impact my weight.
That's everybody. Everybody. I mean, no one, none of the auntie, none of my mother, nobody come tell me, say, you look like you gain weight.
I'm telling you, the gym closed, and it was just like, well, I guess we can eat.
Hey.
So that part of it kind of impacted that. But as far as writing, I'm always writing. I'm always trying to find something, even if it's not like I consider a hit song or a song that I'll put out there. I'm always trying to write something or create something.
Would you ever write for other artists?
Yeah, I actually have smaller artists on. Like I did a song for an upcoming artist. I think her name was Tina B, somebody that was working with Troyton. And I did another song on his gospel project for Omari. It was called I Am Healed. So I've written for those artists so far, and me and Troyton have some other songs in the works. Sorry, my dogs. Me and Troyton have some other songs in the works that we're working on. I can't really say about those yet, you know, but I have been writing for other people.
That's awesome. So you get in the industry feel from both ends. So you get in songwriting credits, production credits, Malay kits.
Yeah.
So all right, so we're gonna get into you and your personal style. I feel like every video I see, it's very different in terms of how do you determine your personal style for each look that you're going for? Like, what are your go-tos? Tell me about the style piece.
You know, I don't like, okay, you know, you have some artists that have like this like edge, or you know, she's always regal, or I don't necessarily think I have developed my style yet. I'm working on that. Like what is your taste? But I try to go necessarily what I want the visual to look like, and what I want it to say, not necessarily like a styling per se. You know, if the song is edgy, then I want an edgy look. But I am trying to figure out like what exactly, you know, what does Tia like to wear on a daily basis? I know I'm more on the natural end of things. But I don't know. Still working.
So you're going shopping. Where are we shopping? Online? Oh, first of all, is it online or is it in person?
Most of my shopping is online. So like Pretty Little Thing, Fashion Nova, the regular, you know, I don't really have
your go-to.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. So we're gonna get into these lightning round questions. Adidas or Puma?
Adidas.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Beyonce.
Do you like to drive or do you like to be chauffeured?
Chauffeur.
Beach or pool?
Beach.
Mango or pineapple?
Mango.
Do you prefer to go out or stay home?
I'm a homebody. I'm a
Okay.
homebody.
And the last one, I should have gave this to you earlier so you have some time to think about it. What's a popular song that describes your personality or gets you amped? Any song that comes to mind.
Popular song that describes my personality. Oh boy. Work.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Tia. This was so much fun getting to know you and your music. I look forward to all the things that you have coming up. So tell the people where they can find you.
Yes, definitely follow me on social media, on IG, official Tia IG. On YouTube is official Tia Vivo. Go and check out the Bounty Killer Nice Up video. That's on his Vivo, Bounty Killer Vivo. And then you can also follow me on Facebook. I'm on there as Tia Mills. And stream my music, Apple Music, Spotify, all those different streaming platforms. Just type in Black Cocoon EP and my name should definitely come up.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you spending the time. Appreciate you being part of the family. You're officially part of the Style and Vibes family now. So thank you so much. And until next time, later, my peeps.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the latest episode of the Style and Vibes podcast. If you like what you hear, and I know you do, share it with your friends and family. If you want more, make sure you visit styleandvibes.com and follow us on our social channels, Twitter and Instagram at Style and Vibes. Until next time, Leah Tommy Peeps.